Hey you! Yeah, you! You look like you've had a hard day. How about you sit down, have a cold one with the boys, and we watch some wrestling with the one and only Beetlejuice. It's recap time, and I think this is the first time in the recaps we've had someone besides Kevin Owens as our WWE champion. We have The Undertaker, who started off bad, started off 0-5, now he's 3-7, one-time WWE champion, one-time tag champion. We have Charlotte Flair at 12-9. She's just moving up in the world. Last episode, she was our tag champion. Now she's our women's champion, and she's the first person to win all three awards this season: the women's title, the tag title, and the MVP. We have Bayley, which we haven't really been doing much with her, but last episode she won the women's tag title, which last season she didn't even do that. She won it for the first time in the entire Beetlejuice My GM series, and for the first time she's won all three awards: the women's title one time, the tag title currently, and one MVP. She's currently 5-8. We have Becky Lynch, where she has had a lot of down moments, but the big moments she just succeeds in. She wins the big moments, that's why she's big time Bex. She's 4-10, and she has the honors: three-time women's champ, one-time tag champ, which she won last episode, and one-time Slapnuts MVP. That's three wrestlers so far who've won all three honors. I think last season we only had Randy and Tony, so we're having a lot of wrestlers win a lot of accomplishments this season. We have Rey Mysterio, our current tag champ. He adds another tag title to his accomplishments, which I like this Photoshop because you look at his arm, it doesn't look like his arm because it's not. That's Kalisto's arm. It took me a while to figure it out, but I find that hilarious. He's 7-9, like I said, three-time tag champ. We have Eddie Guerrero, which last episode he was like 5-5 before we got into the matches. It's going up for Eddie, 7-6. He wins his first title in my GM mode as our current tag champion. We have Kevin Owens, which this is the first time we see him without holding that WWE title. I mean, he's lost it, but he always claims it back by the end of the episode. He's 11-7, three-time WWE champion, two-time Slapnuts MVP. We have Bill Goldberg, which he only had one match last episode, and it was against the Nature Boy. He lost it, so he goes to 10-5, one tag champ, one MVP. We have Sasha Banks, which the opposite of Goldberg. One match, but she wins it last episode. 10-6, one-time women's tag champ. We have Kofi Kingston, which he was giving Dolph Ziggler the work last episode. He's 9-5, one-time tag champ, one-time MVP. We have Mickie James, which, we rewarded her for having such a great record, which she doesn't have a great record anymore because we gave her multiple women's title shots against Charlotte Flair, and Charlotte just beat her every opportunity. I don't think Mickie won a single match last episode. She's 9-6, one-time tag champ, one-time MVP. We have Brock Lesnar, which he only had one match last episode. It was him losing his tag title, but now he's 6-2, one-time tag champ, one-time MVP. We have Ivar, who just like Brock, lost the tag titles. He's now 5-3. We have Mandy Rose, which is just surprising. She just is barely losing. We put her in a rivalry with Trish, and she just beats Trish back and forth at 7-3. Is she our new Mickie James, even though she hasn't won any titles? We have Bobby Lashley, which I did not give him a match last episode, so he stays at 3-2. But look how buff he is. We have the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, woo! Who debuts against Goldberg last episode, which we signed him and only gave him one match, but he won it. He's 1-0, undefeated for the Nature Boy. We have Trish Stratus. She started off so hot. I think she started off like 3-0. But Stratus faction just isn't as hot as she was when she started off. She's 5-5 now. One-time women's champ, one-time MVP. We have Walter/Gunther. Will I know which name to give? No. But he did pick up a win, which gives him a 7-7 record now. We have the original bro, Matt Riddle, which he did not wrestle, so he stays at 6-7, one-time WWE champ, two-time tag champ, before 20, am I right, fellas? Then we have the show-off Dolph Ziggler, not going so well for him. 7 wins, 13 losses. He has the most losses of any of our wrestlers. Two-time tag champ, one-time MVP. We have Chad Gable, which we didn't use him last episode in any matches, so he stays at 6-7, two-time tag champ. Then we have Jeff Hardy. Who would have thought teaming up him with The Undertaker would turn them both around? Both getting wins, both championships. Jeff now 3-4, one-time tag champ. Then we have AJ Styles. He started off pretty well, 1-1, one championship, but now 2 losses in a row. He sits at 1-3, one-time champion. Then we have Samoa Joe, who we didn't use at all last episode, sits at 5-10 still, one-time WWE champion. Then we have Payne Royce, which it was looking so well for her. But then last episode she loses the title. She only had the one match, so she's now 4-9, one-time women's tag champ. It's that time. We talk about the Slapnuts MVPs of last episode. Let's look at the male Slapnuts MVP. We have The Undertaker. It was looking so bad for him, you know, all the losses, 0-5, and he's turned it around. Won a tag title. He's our current WWE champion, and now he adds an MVP, which makes him the fourth wrestler we have to win all three awards, I believe. Just the dead man has risen.
I don't talk about taking souls, I just do it.
And as for the women's Slapnuts MVP, it goes to Charlotte Flair. It's like I said, she's on the rise. Back-to-back MVPs. Last person to do it was Kevin Owens, and Charlotte goes from winning the tag titles to now she's our women's champ. Just woo. Woo, woo, woo.
Don't need you anymore.
We start off getting ready to send a wrestler to the moon. Wanted to send Chad, besides send Brock to the moon, because why not? We start off Raw, Undertaker versus Bobby for the WWE title. Started the rivalry, and The Undertaker defends his title against Bobby Lashley, grows the rivalry. We turn Sasha Banks heel, because who doesn't love heel Sasha? Put Brock versus Samoa Joe, Extreme Rules, Brock to the moon, but Samoa Joe doesn't care. He wants to be back on top. Terrible match, though. Becky Lynch does some charity, and AJ Styles versus Ric Flair. Goldberg runs in. Who wouldn't want to see this match? As AJ Styles picks up the win, beats Ric Flair. Bad match, though. Rey Mysterio does some charity. Trish Stratus versus Mandy Rose. Can Trish finally beat Mandy? And it does not happen. Mandy can't lose. We have Hogan versus King Nakamura in an Extreme Rules match, and the King of Strong Style brings it to Hulkamania and beats him. We have Edge calling out his partner Eric, very strange. Natalya and Christina Fury versus Asuka and Toni Storm, and Natalya and Fury pick up the win. Very strange. Angel Garza cuts a promo. Drew versus Cameron Grimes, one-on-one. And Drew picks up the win against Cameron Grimes in a good match. And then we have my boy, Brute. He's doing a promo. Why? Roderick Strong versus Eric. Tables match for the NXT title, and Roderick Strong picks up the win. NXT, ooh. We have The Undertaker. His contract's running up. Of course, we're re-signing our WWE champion. Then we have Trish Stratus. She wants to be involved with Beetlejuice, which who wouldn't? Can't blame her. Last time we promised this, we forgot to do it. Then we have Becky Lynch, who wants to go one-on-one with Payne Royce, which why not? Who cares? We make a big signing. We pick up the Animal, Batista. Hopefully he doesn't hurt Ray. We go straight into it. Trish wants to win against Mandy. Beetlejuice goes in, helps Trish Stratus, and she actually picks up the win. You know, Beetlejuice committed to his promise. We have AJ calling out Dolph, giving AJ something to do. Becky versus Peyton, Hell in a Cell. Becky picks up the win. We gave her what she wanted. Starts a rivalry. Samoa Joe does some charity. We have Undertaker and Jeff versus Eddie and Ray. Normal match, no title on the line, and Ray and Eddie pick up the win. Our tag champs look strong, and Undertaker gets injured. Dolph does some charity. Then we have Rick versus Goldberg, one-on-one, continuing their rivalry, and Ric Flair picks up the win against Goldberg. We have Hogan versus Nakamura, this time a tables match. Ooh, and Hogan slams the King through a table and gets injured his back, you know. Roger calls out Kane, Natalya, Christina Fury, Toni Storm gets a new partner, and Chyna and Toni Storm pick up the win. Shayna Baszler cuts a promo. Then we have Scott Hall, not Razor Ramon, but Scott Hall versus Drew McIntyre tables match, and Drew sends him through a table. He doesn't care. I didn't even get to read that. Cuts a promo. Cameron Grimes, Angel Garza versus Eric and Edge for the tag titles. And Edge and Eric look good. In NXT, they're doing their thing. We have Triple H telling us to take care of our wrestlers, which it's not our fault. The Undertaker's old, you know? He did too much. It's not our fault, I swear. Then we have Trish Stratus, you know, she's happy. She's happy that we kept our promise. That's what we do. And on the other side of the coin, Mandy Rose is furious at us. Going to that, we have Trish versus Mandy yet again. One happy, one upset, and Trish Stratus picks up the win. We helped her. She's on a roll now. We turned Batista into a bad guy because why not? Who doesn't love bad guy Batista? Samoa Joe versus Brock, Hell in a Cell, and Joe is... Ooh, he's going on a tear right now. He's tired of losing. Kofi Kingston does some charity. We have Dolph versus AJ Styles, giving Dolph something to do, AJ something to do, and Dolph Ziggler also tired of losing, beats AJ Styles. Kevin Owens does some charity. We continue the WCW theme with Ric Flair versus Goldberg, and Ric Flair beats Goldberg yet again. We have Razor Ramon versus Drew McIntyre. I brought it up. Scott, Razor, it doesn't matter. Drew picks up the win. Doesn't care if you're Razor or Scott, and he injures Razor. Shayna Baszler I didn't get to see her name again. We have Chyna versus Natalya, and Chyna picking up the wins. You can't stop the eighth wonder of the world, or is that Andre the Giant? Roderick Strong cuts a promo. Beth Phoenix versus Christina Fury, one-on-one. Who's the tougher gal? And it's Christina Fury picking up the win. Asuka did some charity. We have a rematch. Angel Garza, Cameron Grimes, yet again going for those tag titles against Edge and Eric, and they win. They win the titles, and we're coming for NXT. We have Brock, who's mad at Samoa Joe. He wants to go one-on-one. We tell him yes. Then we have Goldberg, who's tired of losing. We say sure. Undertaker and Jeff versus Eddie and Ray for the tag titles, and they win back the tag titles. Undertaker and Jeff, Undertaker double champ. Ric Flair calls out Goldberg. We have Goldberg versus Chad Gable, Extreme Rules. It's a jobber match, you know. Chad Gable, our lowest wrestler. Goldberg wanted a win. Dolph Ziggler does some charity. Titles on the line. Bayley and Becky versus Sasha and Trish. And Bayley and Becky get their win back after losing. They keep the titles. Kofi does some charity. Yet again, Charlotte Flair versus Mickie James tables match. Mickie James finally does it, wins the title. It's your favorite, Toni Storm, Naomi versus Tamina and Natalya. You love it, they love it, and Toni Storm, Naomi pick up the win. Tamina gets injured. Beth Phoenix calls out Christina Fury. Asuka versus Shayna Baszler. Is anyone ready for Asuka? Well, Shayna Baszler is, as she picks up the win. We have Chyna cutting a promo. Who's ready for Chyna? Almost said Asuka. Scott Hall versus Eric. You know, he's tired of losing with Razor. He brings in Scott Hall, and Eric beats him anyway. Roderick Strong does some charity. We have Hogan versus Nakamura. TLC match. Oh no, that's not good for his back. But Hogan picks up the win, and NXT is winning. We have Triple H telling us before the pay-per-view Kevin Owens can't fight. We have Charlotte upset she lost her title. She wants a rematch. Why not, Charlotte? Continue the rivalry, end the rivalry. We have Mandy Rose saying she wants to team up with Mickie James, our new champion. Why not? We have Mickie versus Charlotte TLC match for the title. Mickie now has all the awards, but Charlotte doesn't care. She wins back her title. Kofi does some charity. And then we have Ric Flair versus Goldberg, which, why are we still looking at Kofi? Ric Flair versus Goldberg tables match. Ric Flair so far has always beaten Goldberg, and he continues, only losing to AJ in an amazing match against Goldberg. Why are we just on the loading screens for so long? AJ Styles does some charity. Trish Stratus versus Mandy Rose TLC match. Who's going to win? Mandy Rose finally stops Trish Stratus, ends her streak. Dolph Ziggler does some charity. Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar. Hell in a Cell. And Samoa Joe just 3 in a row against Brock. He does not want to lose anymore. Becky Lynch does some charity. Titles on the line again. Undertaker and Jeff versus Eddie and Ray. And Eddie and Ray reclaim their tag titles. We have Beth and Toni Storm versus Christina Fury and Natalya tables match. Beth and Toni Storm picking up the win. They love their women's tag matches. Asuka calls out Tamina. We have Roderick Strong defending his NXT title against Kane. Kane picks up the win. He's NXT's champion and he injures Roderick Strong. Naomi does some charity. Ella, there we go, versus Shayna Baszler. Hell in a Cell. Shayna picks up the win against Ella. Then we have Angel Garza doing some charity. Drew and Eric versus Cameron Grimes and Scott Hall? What happened to Edge? Scott Hall finally picks up the win, but Eric gets injured. Chyna does self-promo, not charity. Nakamura versus Hogan, Hell in a Cell. They're just trying to destroy Hogan, and he does get destroyed, injured. Oh, we're on top, baby! We have Batista telling us his contract's running up, and you know, we haven't used him in any matches so far. We have Charlotte Flair thanking us for the title rematch against Mickie James, which she won it back. She reclaimed her championship, and she's a 2-time champion now. Charlotte's resume looks amazing. Then we have Brock also thanking us for a rematch, but unlike Charlotte, he did not pick up the win. Losing 3 in a row to Samoa Joe is tough.